Hi, in this live code video, we'll take a look at how to plot line charts and bar charts. Let's take a look at our data sheet first. For this one, we're going to use the small data sheet. This data sheet lists the sex, the age, the weight, and the height of a classroom full of students. Let's go back. We will want to sort the age from youngest to oldest. We won't do this yet because I want to show you why this is important. So let's start down here and set the X and the Y for the female data. What we're going to do here is compare the height of females to males. We'll call this one X1. We call in the data frame. We want to look at the age column, and then we want to locate where the sex equals female. So we're going to call in the data frame again, call in the column, and we want it to equal F for female. We'll do the same for the Y value. We'll change it to Y, and instead of looking at the age column, we're going to look at the height column. And we can repeat this to set the X and Y values for the male data. We don't want to use the same variables, so we're going to do X2 and Y2. And then this time we want it to locate only the values that have an M for male. Perfect. Let's add some labels. We're going to call on the matplotlib library by using the abbreviation PLT, and we'll start with the X label. Now the X-axis should be the independent value, so in this case it's the age. And we'll set a Y label as well. The Y label will be the height. And while we're at it, let's set a title. Height of school children. Perfect. All right, let's plot the first line just to see what it looks like. We're going to use plt.plot, and we're going to use X1 and Y1. Whoa, so you can see now why it might be important to put the age in ascending order first. Otherwise, we're going to get a graph like this that is not really usable. So let's go back up here and let's sort the age from youngest to oldest. So we're going to call in our data frame and use the sort values function. We're sorting by age, and this should match the column label in the data sheet. We also want it to be ascending, and we want it to be a permanent change. So we're going to use in place equals true. All right, let's see if that fixes it. Much better. Let's add on the second line. So we have another plt.plot, and this time we're going to use the male data, X2 and Y2. This looks great. Now let's add a legend because we want everyone who looks at this graph to know if the blue is for male or female, same with the orange. So to add a legend, you do plt.legend. We want to put a list of the labels in here. So the first line that we plotted, X1 and Y1, were the females. The next one were the males. And there's our line chart. Now there's a few ways you can customize this as well, so make sure to check out the example that follows in this lesson. All right, let's take a look and plot a bar chart now. We're going to take temperature data and sort it by month and make a bar chart from it. Let's start with adding labels. We'll use plt.xlabel, and the independent value is the month. We'll add a Y label of temperature. And let's add a title. These temperatures are for Georgia, so we'll do average Georgia temperatures. We can make the title bigger as well by adding a font size. Let's skip these two options right now just to see what it looks like. We'll use plt.bar, and we have to include the X value and what we want the height of the bar to be, which would be the Y value. We'll call in the Georgia data frame, and the column is labeled as date in all capitals. We'll see that this matches our data set in here. So here is the column named date. Follow it up with a comma, and then the height we're going to use the Georgia data frame. This time we can't use dot notation. If we look back at our Georgia data set, this one right here is the column that we want to use. Since it includes those dashes, we can't use dot notation. So we'll just copy this and we'll put it in brackets. All right, let's plot it. All right, this is a good start. You might notice right away that the names of the months are definitely not right. They're running into each other. We can actually fix this. What we can do is call on plt.xticks. The ticks are the values on the x-axis. We can rotate them so that they fit. Let's try 45 degrees. Much better. Another option we can use is the grid option. The grid by default does not show, but if we wanted to include it, we can make this value equal to true. This may help you determine what the height of the bars actually are. We can also change the color of the bars. Let's set a really fun color scheme. When you do this, you'll create a list, and the number of colors should match the number of bars. Then when we plot it, we can add color, and we can set it equal to color scheme. Let's see what this does. Very cool. That looks great. We can also set a width. So let's set a width of 1. Cool, that looks great. All right, well now it's your turn to go through the examples and the exercises and try this on your own.